Today, I'm going to show you how to access some national forest wilderness, where there's some places, if you do some digging, you can find spots to go off-leash hiking in the backcountry with your dog. Your dog will really enjoy it. You'll hear about our adventure up this snowy mountain right now, and we'll give you some backpacking and outdoors tips with your dog along the way. Almost to the summit. Maybe you live in a city and you take your dog on walks and you take your dog to the dog park, but it never really feels like enough. Maybe you're planning a trip to the western states and you want to find a great place to go off leash with your dog in backcountry wilderness where your dog can really be in its element. Where we are now is called Snow Mountain Wilderness, and it's the closest wilderness area where dogs are allowed off leash to where I live. It's only about a 3-hour drive, and Squeaks gets to be himself, and I think I get to be myself too. There's plenty of beautiful places outdoors to go. Reset, recreate, relax. Being off-leash is great for building trust and communication. I have met many dogs who seem antisocial and don't seem to get along well at all in city life. But as soon as they are off-leash, and even better, off-leash in wild nature, then they become well-mannered and polite creatures. One resource for finding expansive off-leash spaces for your dog is the National Forest system. This is different from the National Park system. National parks rarely allow dogs off-leash at all, but several national forests around the country have massive areas where your dog can be without a leash. Here's a list of some national forests which a quick internet search returned as having some areas where leashes are not required. You should call the National Forest Ranger Station before you visit a national forest to ensure the accuracy of this information. The adventure begins as soon as you are calling ranger stations, supervisors' offices, field stations, and looking at maps. For me, this is a super fun and underrated part of the adventure. I had an adventure not only calling the main supervisor's office for this national forest, but also calling the local field station closest to the trailhead to confirm the conditions. With our bags packed, we made our way toward Snow Mountain. We checked into the field station first to get a map and also to see if any permit was required. It was time for a journey. I gotta say, one thing about making your way to these national forests is that the road to get there is quite beautiful. On a long road trip, Squeaks sometimes makes questionable decisions with his meals. Some of us buy our food at gas stations. Squeaks prefers the manure and dung variety of snacks. After all that research, we finally made it to the trailhead. I don't know if we're gonna make it 4 miles or 40 miles, but we've got about 5 days of food and a very happy puppy. As soon as we got out of the car, he couldn't help but run around and explore. He prefers nature to the car, that's for sure. So that's where we're headed. Don't know how far we'll get, but I think we'll have fun. Right behind this butterfly on my toe is this creek that is flowing a little too fast for Squeaks to cross on his own. He's not too heavy, so I can still pick him up. So if there's a really tall spiky brush he can't hop over, then I lift him up. And we're gonna have to do the same thing to ford this creek here in just a moment. The first day was a beautiful adventure. We only hiked a few miles, but we started late, and also we helped someone change a flat tire on their car near the trailhead. That was part of the adventure too. On the second day, we walked through a massive burn zone where the trail was hard to find. And also, Squeaks saw his first snow this day. You like the snow, Squeaks, but I thought you were from Australia. They don't have that much snow down there. Well, we'll go to Alaska soon, Squeaks, so there'll be plenty of snow in Alaska. Well, at the supervisor station of Mendocino National Forest, they did say that the trail was snowed over. I didn't realize how much of it was snowed over. There's probably more than a mile here that is completely snowed out. No way we're gonna find the trail. In some ways that makes it actually easier because it was so rugged of terrain with this burned out area that it was extremely difficult to find the trail anyway. Here, we make our own trail, but there's also a possibility of us falling into the snow. I didn't bring snowshoes, and so just hiking in my boots here. Squeaks has got the advantage because he's got 4 paws and he doesn't weigh as much as me. Maybe if I put some more stuff in his backpack, then we can even out the risk. I'm just kidding, I don't want Squeaks to fall in the snow. He's still having fun. I guess I'm having fun too, but this is not as easy as I expected. We're less than 10 miles into what was going to be a 40-mile loop, but Squeaks is asking, Sparks, why do we need to go any further? We've got everything we need right here. We've got a creek with running water. We've got plenty of snow, a nice patch of grass to lay on. Beautiful, clear mountain creek near the summit. We've got some sun, we've got trees and clouds, everything we need. Squeaks, you found a pretty nice waterfall. Is there anything cozier than finishing your hike for the day? You've got a big adventure ahead of you tomorrow. And thankfully, just in time, you set up your camp and your rain fly because you just got some afternoon raindrops up in the mountains. Squeaks is okay out in the rain. I might sit in here where it's cozy. You gonna join me, Squeaks? It's cozy. Cozy. Good boy. Good boy. The tip for picking a campsite is you can pick somewhere with water flowing nearby. We're gonna fill up our water bottles to make dinner this evening with this creek you see here. You're on thin ice, buddy. Be careful. Woo-hoo-hoo. What did I say? Maybe you'll trust me next time. Okay, we got our water bottles filled up, so let's go back to camp. Come on, Squeaks. Oh, you're having fun, huh? Too much fun. So one tip, one thing we've learned together, Squeaks and I, is that there's different types of ice and different types of snow. Right now, this morning, this snow has refrozen. Squeaks. So it's quite slippery. And he might slip off of it. He had a lot of fun in some slushy snow yesterday where he can sink his claws in, but this is quite dangerous. This is something humans would need crampons to climb on. He looks like he's having fun, but this could be quite dangerous. I'm gonna get him off this snow. We have a path to this summit here. It's called Snow Mountain Summit in Mendocino National Forest. This snowfield behind us, this is the way we came. We were able to march right through that snow because it was the afternoon and the snow was slushy and I could sink my boots right in and Squeaks could sink his paws right in without being too deep and too dangerous of collapsing on us. See, he's almost gonna slip. Be careful, buddy. Come on. Let's get to the summit, Squeaks. We're almost to the summit here. I'm gonna show you a tip, something called cairns. That's these rock piles that very nice, generous people put along the trail. You can see a few of them up here in case it's hard to find the trail. then the cairns will lead you back to it. I also recommend it if there's some place where it's difficult to find the trailhead on your return trip and you don't know, how am I going to remember where to turn off and go back to the trailhead when I'm done with this trip. You can set yourself a cairn to make things easier to find. We're going to find the summit thanks to these cairns. This is a natural. He went right to the peak, right to the summit. He knew that this was the tallest point around. From below, it doesn't look like the highest peak around, but now that we're up here, I'm only looking down from here for several miles in the Mendocino National Forest. Squeaks is slightly nervous, doggo. What's going on, buddy? Nothing to be nervous about. It's all downhill from here, Squeaks. So now we're gonna go back the way we came. That's south, that way. And on the way back, since this particular trail in this national forest isn't really maintained, we're gonna swing by the ranger's office and supervisor's office and tell them how the trail conditions were, because they wanted the inside scoop on how the trail was doing and how navigable and how snowy it was. Sometimes there will be little log books or little monuments or plaques at these summits. This one's not too high, just about 7,000 feet. So nothing too crazy. I still expected there might be a plaque of some sort. I thought maybe Squeaks had found some kind of trail marker at the top. We saw something man-made buried under this rock, but instead it turned out to just be a gross backpacking meal wrapper. Squeaks might still smell some food inside of it. So this is not something we're gonna do, is leave trash out here. Instead, we're gonna pick this up and bring it down and throw it away. Nah. We've only gone about 10 miles from the trailhead to get up here to this summit, and this wilderness has over 40 miles of hiking backcountry trails, all off leash with your dog. And so that's what's to the north there. We can actually go around that next peak you see over in the distance right ahead. We can go around that, curve over to the east, come back south, and do a big loop to come back where we came from. So that just goes to show how much backcountry wilderness hiking there is if you just look for it, and you can do it with your dog off leash. Okay, Squeaks, time to go home.